The Highlander has enjoyed increased sales every year since 2009, but with the current generation debuting 3 years ago, it's definitely time for a mid-cycle refresh. So here is the 2017 Toyota Highlander. This year sees a lot of updates and improvements, starting with a new engine and transmission, some fresh exterior styling, and enhanced standard safety systems, all in an attempt to make the Highlander stand out in this very crowded and competitive segment. Additionally, the Highlander gets a new trim this year, this sporty SE with a retuned suspension, unique styling, and this exclusive color, Salsa Red Pearl. But let's look at the visual changes that apply across the lineup. Most obvious is this new aggressive grille. Now it drops all the way down, and here in the SE it's finished in a gloss black. Limited and platinum trims, they'll get it in chrome, and the rest of the lineup, they get silver. The fogs get these new angular surrounds, and the headlights even got a bit of a thinner redesign too. Out back, taillights are now LEDs, and they've gotten a bit of a redesign as well. Rear cargo volume, well, that's not stunning at 13.8 cubic feet, but if you drop the second and third rows, it rises to a not unimpressive 83. It's also 1.35 inches longer this year, though it still manages to be one of the shorter entries in the segment. And while the Highlander is still powered by a 3.5 liter V6, the same you're going to find in the Tacoma, the GS350, and even the Sienna, this year, output increases by 25 horsepower and 15 pound-feet. With an 8-speed transmission borrowed from the RX 350, both speed and efficiency are supposed to be improved for 2017. In fact, even with the more stringent EPA testing procedures this year, there's a claimed 2 miles per gallon improvement across the board. So for the V6 Highlander, that means you're now getting 20 miles per gallon city, 26 highway, and 22 combined. Now that's helped partially by a newly standard stop-start system that has been put on this year. I've spoken at length about how I can't really stand stop-start systems, but this one is actually pretty smooth and invisible. I mean, enough so that I've forgotten to disable it quite a few times over the course of the week. But even better, this system, if you can prevent yourself from fully depressing the brake pedal, it won't engage. So if you find yourself in stop-start traffic, you can stop it from turning off whenever you want, but if it suddenly becomes just a freeway parking lot, just push that pedal in all the way and boom, the engine cuts out. It's a great design. The bad news is the increased speed and efficiency, that hasn't really been seen other than on paper. Independent testing hasn't been able to show any kind of improvement on 0 to 60 times or on the skid pad, even with the increase in power and the SE's sportier retuned suspension. In fact, some owners have been complaining that their 2017 Highlander feels slower than their 2016 or 2015 replacements. Although I haven't noticed that difference. I haven't actually noticed a lack of power at all. This thing seems to have plenty of power regardless of the situation. The only time I've noticed a problem is when I'm in traffic around 30, 40 miles an hour where I'm constantly adjusting my speed. Then the new transmission, that can hunt around a bit and look for the right gear, and that can kind of get annoying. But I don't know, maybe if I had a full load in here I was driving around, I'd notice more issues, but I haven't had a single problem. I can tell you that on smooth roads, the SE feels really confident and planted, and it doesn't lean anywhere near as much as you would expect. However, if you start pushing it and you're driving really fast and you're hitting those bumps, like especially in a hard turn, that's when you're going to notice a lack of damping that can send the wheels kind of skittering around and starts getting some of the shakes and rattles out in the back especially. That said, why are you driving a 3-row crossover that quickly? It's really not all that necessary. As for fuel economy, I've been getting 19 miles per gallon in my week of mixed driving, and that's with my really heavy foot and a good blend of city, highway and traffic. So as far as I'm concerned, 19 miles per gallon, that ain't bad at all. Okay, now that we're done talking about the negatives, let's talk about the positives, like this interior. Highlanders have always won praise for having a spacious and well-designed interior, and this year is no different. There is a ton of head and leg room here, and a lot of really creative storage solutions, like this dash length, this shelf, and this bin. Now, to be honest, I'm not really crazy about the lid on this bin, but it is really, really spacious. More than that, eagle-eyed shoppers are going to notice that there are the addition of 4 extra USB ports here. And that comes on every single 2017 Highlander, so well done, Toyota. Rear seats are spacious and comfortable, here with second row captains and an optional $1,800 rear seat Blu-ray entertainment system that drops right down to block the rear view mirror. How is it that hanging fuzzy dice or Mardi Gras beads from your rear view is illegal, but this isn't? Back here, you also get a handy little drink shelf and video inputs for a video game system or whatever you like. The third row isn't as nearly as accessible for adults, but children should have no issue. So what really sets the Highlander apart? Toyota Safety Sense. That's now standard on every 2017 Highlander, and it adds a full suite of autonomous safety systems like forward collision warning with auto brake and pedestrian detection, active cruise control, auto high beams, and lane keep assist. These are systems that are available as options for the competition, and often only if you go with the more expensive trims. Here, it's all included. The lane keep warning and assist, that operates really nicely without bouncing you around from line to line like some of the systems can. Active cruise is smooth as well, and honestly smooth enough that it can lull you into not paying enough attention if I'm being truthful here. The forward collision warning and intervention though, that may be broken or something. I'm not really sure. I couldn't get it to activate, though if I'm being honest, I wasn't too keen on attempting to replicate an imminent forward collision. As long as it actually does work, I would rather it was less intrusive rather than more, so maybe that's a good thing. Okay, let me just do a little bit more complaining about controls and displays here. This LCD clock in the dash, it really just kind of betrays the Highlander's age, and it makes this whole indent just feel like an afterthought. And the controls around this 8-inch touchscreen, they're a little bit too far for comfort, even for my go-go gadget arms. And the buttons, these touch capacitive examples here, I'm never quite sure if I've executed a button press, which is dangerous when you have to keep looking back to see what you're doing. And finally, it must be said, there's no Apple CarPlay, there's no Android Auto. That's not good. Now, if I can give you a bit of advice, it's stay away from the 4-cylinder option on the LE trim. That engine, it's unrefined, it's underpowered, and it doesn't even offer an efficiency bonus over the V6. Now, personally, I love this SE for just over 40 grand. The benefits of the suspension, I think they far outweigh any of the negatives. And as far as looks are concerned, I think it's the best of the bunch with that gloss black grille and this salsa red paint. In all, the Highlander really is a must-test option in this segment, even if its underpinnings are getting a little long in the tooth. Hey, thanks for watching. For full details on the 2017 Toyota Highlander, just click the link in the description. You can head over to CarGurus.com and read my full review. And for videos of some of the competitors of the Highlander, well, just subscribe to the channel.